What's going on YouTube and Gen X? So I got a very interesting PM. I'm not going to say that it's so significant, but I did find it to be interesting and very unique. Now the PM came from a woman who is biracial. Okay, she's in school and she's at the point where she feels like she needs to start dating more significantly. Okay, she's kind of done with the whole having fun. Now she's really trying to solidify her future, and she understands the importance of choosing the right sort of man, apart from what she's doing in regards to education and career, right? So I have to give her credit for that. Um, and she doesn't identify as black or white, and a big part of that has to do with how she was brought up. Her parents didn't want her to feel like she was torn, so they constantly reinforce this idea that it's okay for you to be other. So literally, that's how she was raised, and that's what she has adopted as an adult, other. And once again, that has been backed by the wantings of her father and mother, right? But when it comes to her preference in men, her preferences with black men, because she is extremely close with her father, she's close with her uncles and all the other males on his side of the family. So she's very close, and she talked about how um, even growing up as a kid, it was black men that gave her the most attention, and she talked about how she wasn't always the skinniest girl, and she talked about the whole idea of thick for black men, but fat for non-black men. So, from the time the girl hit, puberty and whatnot, and boys started looking at girls, black men have always showed her love. So that combined with her close relationship with her father, she feels more at home with black men, but for whatever reason, she doesn't feel like, or she doesn't identify with black. She identifies with other. And her question to me was, do I think that is going to turn off certain black men, right? If we met and we knew each other, would I be turned off simply because she didn't identify as black? My answer to that is no, but you really have to pay attention to what I have to say about that. Because I'm sure people will come on and say, yeah, because of conditioning, X, Y, and Z, right? But let me explain myself. My issue with, I would say, maybe biracial people, or even the whole Afro-Cuban or Afro-Latino population, is oftentimes they'll disassociate their blackness. So they'll say they are not black and act as if somehow they're going to be treated differently. So they get poor treatment, or they get treated similarly to black people, African American, because of the name of the label black. So if they remove the label, they're going to be treated differently. And I get upset because you're not being treated that way because somebody has forced upon you black. You're being treated the way you're treated because of how you look phenotypically. That's how you're being treated. So it doesn't matter what you call yourself. If you look black and your skin is darker and you don't have certain features, they're going to treat you a certain way, right? We all know who David Ortiz is, right? Big Papi. Um, and the man, if you heard him speak and you didn't hear his face, you would swear that, he's going to look like Ricky Ricardo, okay? But the man is black, right? Black almost to the point where, he could damn near be somewhere from Africa, right? There's no questioning that this man is black, okay? Even with Manny Ramirez, you look at him and it's like, yeah, I'm looking at a black guy, right? And at that point, that's what people see. So they can care less if you say, no, 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 I'm not black, I'm this. They don't care. You still look a certain way, and that is how you're being treated. It's as simple as that. This whole idea of your accent and the language you speak, that's all a product of the slave trade and migration and this, that, and the third. That's all that is. right? All that is relatively new. Your language and what you call yourselves. So I can care less about what you speak, right, or what your name is. Look how you look. So regardless of how you identify, you're still being treated in the same way, right? It's just like blacks and Puerto Ricans. We're different, but we always have that sort of bond, okay? Literally, brothers will tell you, yeah, I've dated a Puerto Rican chick, and honestly, it wasn't even like I was dating interracially. There's only like a small minor things that, you know, uh, made me remember that, she wasn't quote unquote black. For the most part, I was dating a black woman. And I've seen older Puerto Rican women classify themselves as black. No, I am black, black. I don't care what y'all have to say, right? Um, so we're different, but our realities are so similar that there's that connection. So yeah, you're not black, okay, and I'm not Puerto Rican, but in terms of how the world treats us, we're being treated similarly because of how we look phenotypically. I don't know if you guys can hear that beeping. Somebody's car alarm is going off. Hopefully it goes off. But anyways, uh, that's how you're being treated. So we can still get along if your viewpoints and your opinions are also based off of how the world treats you. Not to say that you're a victim, right? But we know what to look out for. We know who we can side with. We know our realities. So because they're so similar, we can still have that connection. That's why it's not a big deal. And that's why for me, I said, no, I'm not really tripping, right? Because your realities are similar to mine, regardless of how you call yourself or what you call yourself, because we kind of look the same anyways, right? So yes, you don't consider yourself to be black. That's cool, but your realities are still going to be similar to that of a black man, or at least similar to that of a black woman. So for that black man who may be checking for you, there's still going to be that level of connection. The only way that you can honestly hurt yourself is if you come on and act like you don't have the same problems as black people simply because you don't identify as black, right? And that's what is going to hurt you. If I identify as black, I'm going to be treated in a way in which I don't want to be treated. If you negate how you look phenotypically, then there's a problem. There's a problem. And to make it personal, my younger brother, uh, had a chick that he was talking to at one point in time who was biracial. Um, Dad was white, mom was black, and she didn't identify as black nor white. She was one of those I'm other, okay? But she was a great person. I knew her personally as well, and she was cool. She was one of the more quality chicks that I've met in my time, and I still get on my brother about, man, you need to hit her up more. And she was cool people. Um, so she didn't identify as black, but she knew that there was a level of similarity, so there wasn't a big issue getting along, right? It's going back to that whole black Puerto Rican thing. So to answer your question once again, it's no. Okay? It's not going to hurt you as long as you remember that how you're going to be treated has more so to do with how you look phenotypically versus how you identify racially or along ethnic lines. That's irrelevant to non-black people or people who may be considered to be black. We make it a bigger deal than other people in regards to, well, what are you? Well, I'm not, African. I'm African American, or I'm Afro Latino. We're the ones making a big deal. But in terms of the outsiders, whether they're white, Asian, Middle Eastern, you're black. Or you're one of those lower minority groups. Oh, he's Puerto Rican or he's black. Like, you're still put into that category at the end of the day. So you still have to deal with the same problems that we have to deal with. So as long as you're handling your business and I'm handling my business, obviously we're going to connect because we have too much in common. Like I said, that whole 95%, right? And like I said before, I've seen, Puerto Rican women, even some Puerto Rican men. I knew a counselor when I was still doing undergrad that I kind of work with. And, you know, they identified as full black. Once they did their research on the slave trade in Puerto Rico and what went on, oh, they identified as full black. Even though their last name is Rodriguez or whatever, right? Sanchez, they identified as full black. So anyways, that's my vid. Hopefully it helps you, and hopefully it sheds clarification on how I feel about people who may not be fully black. I have no issue with the fact that you call yourself or you identify however you want to identify. It's more so when you guys come on and act like the problems that you face and how you get treated by non-black people is because people are forcing the black label upon you, and it has nothing to do with how you look. You got motherfuckers looking like Danny Glover speaking Spanish, right? I'm not black. How dare you call me black? Don't treat me in that way, right? But you look like Danny Glover, right? So anyways, that's my vid. Y'all take it easy. God bless.